The Z Flip 8's inner screen is the most fragile part of the phone, and a lot of the protectors flooding Amazon right now weren't even tested on this crease. One tiny air bubble near the fold, and you've got a dead spot for good. We're not ranking these by price or star count today. We're ranking by which ones actually survive the fold without lifting, and which ones will have you peeling a bubble out of your crease line by week 2. And stick around, because the one that wins this list isn't even glass. I'll get to why that matters in a second. First, the one everybody buys because it's cheap and comprehensive, and why that's a mixed bag. Number 5, Milomdoi 9-in-1 Screen Protector Kit. Inner film, plus front glass, plus camera lens. If you searched Z Flip 8 Screen Protector on Amazon, you've already seen this one. It's one of the most visible listings for the phone right now, and it's easy to see why. You get 9 pieces in one box, 3 inner flexible films for the folding display, 3 tempered glass protectors for the cover screen, and 3 camera lens covers, all with an installation frame included. For a phone that has 3 different pieces of glass to protect, getting all of it in one purchase instead of 3 separate orders is genuinely convenient. Here's where it gets more specific. The inner film is an ultra-thin 0.16mm flexible layer, not tempered glass. Glass can't fold, so this is the only real option for the crease itself. Milomdoi rates the film to survive 200,000 folds without bulging, which is a brand claim, not an independently tested number. So treat it as a starting point rather than a guarantee. The front cover screen glass is 9H hardness at 0.33mm with a nano hydrophobic coating. And Milomdoi lists 99.99% optical grade light transmittance. Again, brand stated, not third-party measured. If you're the type who wants to protect the whole phone in one shot and doesn't mind a slightly fussier install on the inner piece, this is the volume pick. If you just want the outer screen covered and don't want to deal with the crease film at all, keep watching, because the next one skips that problem entirely by doing one job instead of 3. At number 4, we're switching from a kit that does everything to a brand that's built almost entirely around doing one thing, the cover screen, extremely well. Number 4, Spigen GlasTR EZ FIT, cover screen 2-pack. Spigen's GlasTR EZ FIT is a tempered glass protector built specifically for the Z Flip 8's front cover display, not the inner folding screen. That's an important distinction. This is 9H plus tempered glass, and glass by nature can't bend, so it's designed for the flat 4.1-inch outer panel only. If you want inner screen coverage, you'll still need a separate flexible film. This one isn't trying to be a full kit solution like the Milomdoi. What it does with more engineering than most budget kits. The auto-align tray handles placement for you. You set the tray over the cover screen, press, and remove it, which cuts out the freehand guesswork that causes crooked installs. Spigen states the glass is lab-tested for 100% optical clarity, and the listing specifically calls out that it preserves original touch response, which matters on a cover screen you're using constantly for notifications and quick replies without opening the phone. Who this is for? Someone who already has a separate solution for the inner crease, or who mainly cares about the cover screen taking the daily abuse. Pocket drops, table scuffs, key scratches, since that's the panel getting touched and set down face up all day. Number 3, YWXTW EZ Alignment, Strengthen Crease Test Kit. YWXTW built its whole brand identity around the alignment tray. Their EZ alignment system uses a positioning frame specifically designed to stop the inner film from shifting mid-install, which is the single biggest reason DIY crease protectors end up with a bubble trail down the fold. The kit itself is a multi-piece set, soft inner film for the crease, front tempered glass for the cover screen, and a camera lens protector, all built around that alignment tray. Quick transparency note before the pitch. I could confirm this exact YWXTW alignment system for the Z Flip 7, where the brand markets it heavily with a strengthen crease test claim on the inner film's fold durability. But I wasn't able to independently confirm a Z Flip 8 specific listing under this. Same title. Cases and screen protectors for folding phones are frequently sized to the exact hinge and panel dimensions of one generation. So if you're linking this for a Flip 8 audience, double-check the listing page confirms Flip 8 compatibility before it goes live. This is a flag, not a deal breaker, since YWXTW does iterate their listings quickly across new device launches. Assuming compatibility checks out, the strength here is genuinely the install process. The tray-based alignment is built to solve exactly the lip conflict and bubble problem we opened this video with. You're not eyeballing placement on a foldable screen, which is notoriously harder to align than a flat display because of the curve near the hinge. The camera lens protector uses tempered glass as well, which is a nice-to-have most budget kits skip or treat as an afterthought. The catch: like most multi-piece kits, the inner film is the piece that will show wear first, and strengthened crease test is brand language. There's no named independent standard behind that claim. So treat it as marketing shorthand for "we reinforced this area," not a certified rating. This next one drops the multi-piece kit format completely and goes back to basics. One material, one job, built around a part of the phone almost nobody talks about: the speaker. Number 2. LK 3-pack screen protector, speakerphone cutout design. LK's listing is explicit that this is designed for the Z Flip 8 and Z Flip 7 both, and it leads with something specific: a cutout designed around the speakerphone. On a folding phone, the speaker and mic openings sit close to the screen edge, and a protector with a poorly placed cutout can partially muffle call audio or block the grill just enough to matter on speaker calls. LK's listing calls this out directly as a design consideration, which tells you they at least identified it as a real issue worth solving for. Materially, this is not tempered glass. It's a flexible TPU film, which LK states at 98% transparency with what they call high-response haptic touch technology, plus support for fingerprint unlock through the material, meaning it's not distorting the under-display area enough to interfere with biometrics. Because it's TPU and not glass, it's inherently better suited to the curved and folding areas of the phone than rigid glass would be. And it comes with the accessories needed for a full install across 3 pieces. On the mic and speaker question specifically, I want to be straightforward. Whether the cutout design actually prevents audio muffling in practice is a hands-on claim, not something I can confirm from the listing alone. When testing speakerphone calls with this installed versus bare screen, that's a real test to run before you put a definitive claim in the final cut. The honest trade-off versus the earlier glass-based picks. TPU film reads as slightly softer under a fingernail than 9H tempered glass, so if raw scratch hardness is your priority, this isn't the toughest surface on the list. But it's the only one here that's specifically engineered around a functional problem instead of just a protective one. And that brings us to the one I mentioned at the top. Not because it's the toughest glass on this list, because it isn't glass at all, but because of what happens when you actually use the phone the way most people do, opening and closing it 50, 100 times a day. Number 1. LYWHL Non-Glass Self-Healing Screen Protector. LYWHL's pitch is simple: skip glass on the crease entirely and build the whole protector around flexibility and self-healing. This is explicitly a non-glass film, made to move with the fold instead of resisting it, and the self-healing claim refers to minor surface scratches and small bubbles smoothing themselves out over time rather than sitting there permanently. A feature that only really makes sense on a soft polymer film, since tempered glass can't self-heal by design. Same transparency flag as product 3. LYWHL's non-glass self-healing line is confirmed and clearly documented for the Z Flip 7, but I could not independently verify a listing under this exact name specifically confirmed for the Z Flip 8. Given how closely folding phone accessories track hinge geometry and panel size generation to generation, this is worth a manual check on the live product page before it's linked as a Flip 8 specific pick. Flag it, don't skip it, since LYWHL has
historically rolled out Flip generation updates fast. The catch is the same one that applies to every non-glass option on this list. You're trading raw scratch hardness for flexibility. A house key dragged hard across TPU will mark it in a way 9H glass would shrug off. But for the one piece of this phone that physically bends every day, flexibility isn't a compromise, it's the actual requirement. Quick recap by what you're actually trying to solve. If you want full coverage across all 3 panels in a single purchase, the Milomdoi 9-in-1 kit gets you there, with a slightly fussier inner film install. If you only care about the cover screen and want precision placement, Spigen's GlasTR EZ FIT is built around that one panel and that tray system. If you're prioritizing an easy, bubble-free install specifically on the crease, pending that Flip 8 compatibility check, YWXTW's alignment kit is designed to solve that exact problem. If speakerphone call clarity matters to you day to day, LK's cutout designed film is the only one here that engineered around it directly. And if you want the protector least likely to lift or bubble from the fold itself over months of daily use, again pending that same compatibility check, LYWHL's self-healing film is the pick built for exactly that. Links to every product are below in order, worst to best. Check them out and let me know in the comments which one you're running on your Flip 8.